level as somebody in royalty dying. Yes. So we're on again. We're live. This is WYTOM 2.0. We're in my mobile unit, and we're just gonna carry on from here. But yeah, it was funny because I wasn't looking at the chat room, and I'm just rambling, and I got my eyes closed, and then I open my eyes and I go, damn, this thing done crashed on me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, and we're back. So I was looking for this receipt. The reason why I said that is because LJ had made this statement. You see what I'm saying? Let me see if I can find it. So that was the precursor to the video clip I was going to play. So, let's see what your girl is up to.
Dumb, negative. We are the most negative set of people that out of every other country, every other people, black folks in the United States are the most negative. That is what our reputation is outside of this country. We are represented as ghetto, stupid, dumb, naive. We are slaves. Oh, trust me, I'm not saying that we're not. I'm just telling y'all how we are known outside of the United States of America. We are negative, ladies.
That's a quote from your girl. Oh, okay. Well, do you want me to play it again? Play it again, Sam. Do you want me to play it again? Let me know. Because I will. I have no problem. Because what I can do is I'll play the other.
Slaves.
I'll play the other receipt. Yes. Oh, okay. You heard it. Well, yeah. I mean, she has no clue of how we are perceived. We have a long history with different countries, and for different reasons. It's either through war or through peace. First of all, the like I don't even want to go down that road, but I'm gonna walk halfway down that road. That is a twisted quote. I'm just gonna walk I'm gonna walk a quarter down that road because that's a long road to go down, and everybody have their own perceptions and stuff like that. But if you was a black filmmaker and you came out with a non-stereotypical black film, and even if it was, but let's say it wasn't, would you want to debut that film out the country first, or would you want to debut it in a black film festival in America first? And let's pick a town. Um, let's say you want to debut that film in D.C. first before debuting it in a black film festival in D.C. instead of debuting that black film out the country. You would want to debut that film out the country first. You would want to debut that film in Cannes, France, at the Cannes Film Festival if they accept you into that film festival. And if your film does well at that film festival, you will be able to name your price with Netflix. You will be able to negotiate a good deal for distribution in America for your film to be played in major theaters. That's why everybody was mad at Monique for not going to the Cannes Film Festival to help promote the movie she was in. She figured that since it was in a film festival in France, it didn't mean shit. You know, she like, well, it ain't a film festival in New York or nothing like that, or Houston. Fuck it. No, the Cannes Film Festival is very important to film, and there's a music convention in Cannes, France called Meetum. That's an acronym, and that's important to music. If you're an independent musician, I mean a music artist, and you want the world to know about your new music, and you trying to get a deal or you have a deal, the Meetum Festival is the most important festival in the world. That's in Cannes, France. You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Nollywood is dope. You know, they make 50 movies a week. If you was coming out with your own fashion line, you don't have to go to Italy and try to, pull a Kanye and force them to respect you and acknowledge you and scoot over on the bench and let you sit next to them. They make 50 movies a week in Nigeria. Take your clothes out there. They got money. Anyway, so America, if black people invented jazz or whatever, the biggest jazz festival is not in the United States. The biggest blues festival is not in the United States. You see the road that I'm going down? If like there was a movie called Cadillac Records, and I loved the film. I really did. The only part that I had issue with is when Muddy Waters, I think that's who it was. Towards the end of the film, they showed him going to Europe because a lot of artists out there were remaking his songs, and people loved him out there. So when he got off the plane, you saw the red carpet hit the ladder of the steps of the plane, and you saw all the paparazzi flashes of the camera, and he was getting off the plane, and then they cut the film. And I didn't like that part because I know that I guess the powers that be didn't want to show the great reception that he got, but trust me, when he got off that plane, he got treated way better than he ever got treated in his whole career back in the United States. And I read Miles Davis' book by Quincy Troop, the only official autobiography from Miles Davis. And Miles Davis said he don't even like performing in America. He will tolerate performing in New York, Chicago, St. Louis, and California. And even then, those places get on his nerves. And when he goes to places like Poland, they will send out the they have a limo. Like one time he was going to Poland, and the head of Poland couldn't meet with him at the airport. So he sent the limo that's for high-ranking military dignitaries or royalty. They sent a limo to the plane. Miles Davis did not have to go through customs. He got off the plane, the commercial airline, got in the limo, and rode to the festival to do the show. And in that limo, he had all the little accessories and amenities that would get him in the groove and pump him up for the show. He had everything in that limo he needed. So by the time he stepped out that limo, he was going to do a knock him out show. So yeah, So what she said, I just don't understand. I mean, I met artists that didn't have a good time overseas, going to where I went, and but I didn't argue with them. I didn't say, "Yo, you wrong about that, man. They love us out here." Nah, I don't expect everyone to have the same experience especially if you go as a tourist too. You need to try to stay amongst the people and hang out where the people go and stuff like that. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, if you're an asshole in America, you'll be an asshole overseas. It's not going to be a difference. you know, you might look at yourself and go, you know what? They don't like me here just because I'm an asshole. But anyway, we're not going to go down that road. I just wanted to go the quarter down that road. So yeah, observer, don't you think Latanya's opinion of us kind of it's like from a white perspective, but not a regular white person, but someone that may have a disdain for us. But at the same time, she tried to say that this wasn't her opinion, this was just a fact. And that's my problem with her. She speaks so matter of factly about everything. Exactly, observer. And exactly the least strong. And you know, yes, Suki also. I'm feeling that. And I'm reading the chat a little bit. That's why I keep stopping in my words. But you know what? She said that she doesn't, even though she make these views, she said these views are facts. She doesn't agree with them, but these views are facts. And if she was white and said the same thing, I don't believe in these views. I love black people, but this is a fact. It's the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Let me find this other receipt. Let me tell you something, mister. Let me see.
Whether or not I spelled something incorrectly is my interpretation of it. There are many different ways of spelling things. So if I want to use slang and spell it a different way, I have the right to do that. It's called me being an originator. So if I want to spell something a different way than what it is, but it has the same meaning, then what difference?
Okay. That would happen when she was told that she spelled something wrong in her title. And she got offended. And she had a statement after the fact. See, these statements are always after the fact. And instead of saying, yeah, I didn't, I wasn't at the head of my class in spelling, or yeah, I got that wrong. I was in a rush. You know, you got me. Spelling isn't my forte. No, she gonna say that I made up something new. I used slang, and what I did was do something original and originating. That's a motherfucker cop out excuse if I ever heard one. Can you believe that shit? I can't believe that shit. Maybe we want to put this picture back up. You know what I'm saying? Make me want to holler, throw up both my hands. I mean, what's the difference between the two? What is the difference? That's why I had to merge them two together. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of similar qualities. Very egotistical, very narcissistic. I mean, and you're absolutely correct. There is a difference. She is delusional. Well, she may. Well, I ain't gonna even go there. Look, I can't rock with you if you can't say my name. You know what I'm saying? If you can't say Funda Fee and don't slam my car door, and why you tripping off me? She barely can say Victor Moan. Von Navy has entered the building. And you know what? I gotta go look at Von Navy's avatar. I just zoomed in on Von, Von Navy's avatar is off the hook. I ain't gonna lie. That's a pose out of this. That's a pose for you. Sisters know how to pose, okay? Don't get it twisted. Sisters will pose on you. And you know who used to pose like that? Josephine Baker. Yeah, if you ever come across a book on Josephine Baker, autobiography, and you look at some of those old pictures of her, those poses were, nobody had a problem with those poses then, with her finger waves and everything. But now, when a sister poses a certain way, people got issue with it, and I'm like, we've been down that road before. You know what I'm saying? It's the mentality of the observer. You see what I'm saying? So shout out to Von Navy with the ill avatar pose. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. You came just in time for the art piece. This was unveiled a couple of days ago, but by popular demand, it's back. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's all I can say. And that's what they say. You know. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is, Von Navy. I mean, you the one that stepped into the chat room with like your avatar came in the chat room like bam, like here it is, like how you like me now. And I mean that in the most respectful manner. I am not trying to tease you. But I'm just saying, black people are so creative and black people are so beautiful that we can't help but draw attention to ourselves. I'm 6'4" for you police officers that are listening. I'm 6'4", and there's no way I can sneak into a room. There's no way. So I just step in. I don't try to tap or tiptoe into a room. I can't even tiptoe into a church. You know how you come late to church and you try to, put one finger in the air or something and sit down? I know the ladies do that. The men don't do that. But you try to tiptoe and sit down in the last pew. I can't do that. Look, there's a whole debate about Christopher Columbus. All right. First of all, the Jewish people say that Christopher Columbus was Jewish, and remember that being Jewish is not a nationality. Being Jewish is what you believe in. And I'm not trying to sound, like Latanya and say that everything is written in stone. Um, I, everybody likes to claim somebody, the same way blacks claim Halle Berry and Barack Obama and the barges. The same way black claims the barges. Chico and them. Well, the Jews claim Christopher Columbus, and there were some Jews on the ship also. And a matter of fact, the ship was made in Portuguese. There was nothing European. There was nothing English about that ship. All the parts came from Portuguese and other places, and the maps didn't even come from Europe. The map that they used, and then Christopher Columbus, uh, what do you call it, diary. He already knew he was doomed before he left the port. He says, I don't know if it was 4 or 8, but he said, I have 8 incompetent pilots. And if I make it to my destination, it would be by the grace of God. And I am paraphrasing because any discussions about history or religion or geography can lead into long sub arguments, and that's her issue. That's her issue. That you can't make these blanket statements and don't expect your audience to have an opinion, and you might go off on a sidebar for quite a while. You see what I'm saying? And then if you don't give them a chance to convince you of their argument, you're gonna have a problem, especially in America where we have freedom of speech. A. I'm not dissing. Yeah, we're we're all cousins. I'm not dissing. Um, and I appreciate that, Von Navy. I'm not dissing the barges and all of that. Because I liked the group before. See, the lead singer of the barge had his own group first. And I'm sure you guys know the name. You know, you guys are such historians. You would know the name of the group before the DeBarge. That's where they had their best lyrics with the brother. He was the lead singer of another group. But when he formed the group with his family, some people thought it was still his old group, but it was his new group with his family members. And but in his old group, everyone could switch instruments. His old group, some one person be on bass, next thing he on keyboard, next thing he on the drums. They would switch. Oh, switch. That's the name of the group. Um, yeah, the lead singer in the DeBarges, he was with Switch first, and and they had really great writing. Like even if they didn't have any music, if you just read the lyrics to Switch music, it was great. But when they went to the DeBarge family and had the DeBarge music, they were cute, and their music was very nice and romantic, but the words wasn't quite there. But it didn't matter because they already had a reputation and they were great musicians. But the lyrics wasn't as strong when they had the DeBarge family group compared to when they were with Switch, when it was just a brother with Switch. And that's just my opinion. But I've seen Chico and Joe in concert before, and I didn't even know Chico could play the piano so well. He had a Fender Rhodes organ. He could play very well. Joe can play acoustic guitar very well. They were pantomiming on some songs. They wasn't playing live, but I give them a pass for that. And Chico was afraid of flying, so Chico caught the train to my city to do the show with Joe. And if you really want some dirt, you want some dirt. Since my identity is so secret and nobody knows who I am, I can give you the tea on Chico DeBarge. My wife and my son happened to be coming from Texas, and they saw Chico DeBarge on the Amtrak train on his way to do a show. So me being the person that I am, I said, well, you need to get tickets for that show. You know what I'm saying? And she said, well, what you want me to do? Just ask him or something? And I was like, no, I don't know. Just wait and see what happens, right? So they were at a stop, and Chico didn't have no money to get some soda or some shit. So my wife bought him a soda or chips or some bullshit. and she asked them for tickets for the press box, or so at the that you leave at the front. And you know what? We got those tickets. We went to the show and saw Joe and Chico DeBarge, and it was a wonderful show. Thank you, Chico DeBarge. He's a good brother. So he was on his way to get that check. Get that check. So anyway, enough of that. Now, I disagree with we're all cousins of the same. If you observe hair follicles, you'll see that European hair is close to animal fur. Black people are the ones that actually have real hair. Okay, Miss Monette, you're going to raise your red, black, and green flag. It is all good here. Everybody has a voice. I like Roy Ayers because he have songs like Red, Black, and Green. If you think about it, you know what I mean. Roy Ayers have songs like Coffee is the Color. Do, do, do. We live in Brooklyn, baby. You know what I'm saying? The Last Poets, it's one of my favorite groups. I can't even listen to it without getting teary-eyed. And Gil Scott-Heron, Winter in America, the coldest winter ever, something like that. Look, don't start no mess in here, Miss Monette. Coming in here with your Dr. Malachi Z. York statements. But no, I respect what you're saying. And I actually understand that some of us came from the water and some of us came from the cave. You see what I'm saying? Some of us came from the water and some of us came from the caves. It is all good. We can find reasons to, I don't know, work with each other and try to understand each other and see what we can do, because we all plaguing the earth. The earth was not built for humans. We came here just like a sperm cell hits the egg. This is not our mother planet. We are plaguing the earth. The population has gone out of control, but that's another story. Anyway, I'm starting to sound like your girl. So yeah, she's still playing Nature Boy, and I don't know who she's streaming, but yeah, she all up in the mix though. Nature Boy must be live, and she's restreaming Nature Boy live. It's all good, Miss Monette. I have got up and walked out of movies because of my own political opinions and how I get emotionally involved in the production and stuff like that. There are some black films that I have not yet seen just because I didn't like the premise of the film. You see what I'm saying? And trust me, I didn't spill no liquor for John Singleton. All right. So it's totally understandable. I get mad when I walk into a Rite Aid or a Walmart and I walk past the magazine rack and it's all pale. I don't see too many brown images on the magazines, but it's all good because I know there should have been a black Walmart. Don't get mad at them. It should have been a black Costco or a black you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. What's your girl talking about? Just like Miss Monique. Monique can't get mad. They should have been a Black Flicks that offered her $40 million for her live stage performance. You know what I'm saying? It was Netflix, and they said you ain't worth nothing but $500,000. And it is what it is. Take it or leave it. And her dumb husband said, nah, we should get more than that. They could have got $1 million, but he fucked that up too. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't even record her own comedy to sell it to him. Everybody else, Cat Williams, everybody else recorded their own stand-up and sold it to him. So she could have rented out amphitheater, if she could draw those kind of numbers, she could have rented out the Apollo and shot her own stand up and then sold it to them and got more money. But if they got to do the whole production, and you know what? She only got 50,000 for doing that movie. She got an Oscar for, and it took 3 months to do it. She would have got 500,000 for 2 hours. She fucked that up. Shit, I would have took 500,000 for 2 days. Okay, but that's just me. Yeah, we all in one big pot of soup, and yeah, she messed that up. I would have slapped the hell out of my husband slash manager. How could you fuck that up? I wouldn't have been on all these radio shows and live on Snapchat or whatever the fuck, and and complain and cry and say this is an attack against. No, it's the attack against you and your money. Your ass. If your ass would have went to Cannes, France in the first place, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. My big old son just walked in the building. Look, she only made 50,000 from that movie she got an Oscar for, but she could have really milked that if she would have went to the film festival in Cannes and helped promote that film. The film, she could have made that film do even more. She could have raised her profile internationally, and she made fun of Holly Berry for making breakfast for people at the film festival. She might have been making crepes or some kind of breakfast at the festival. But don't hate Holly Berry for her tactics. You know, maybe she had, Holly Berry is a real actress, so maybe she saw somebody do it 2 years ago and she got game. Hold on 1 second. Hello? Yeah. Um, she got now. Let's make a comparison. Let's make a comparison sit because she tried to say that all that was racial and stuff like that. But let me tell you a story about a short story because you know how I can go on. Um, Let me tell you a short story about Marlon Brando and his role in The Godfather, just so you can have something to compare to. Now, I'm not knocking Monique either. It was just the way the business side was handled by somebody who was incapable of handling business. Her husband is not capable of handling business, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? But if the people love you and support you, all you got to do is show proof of that by spending a little money on yourself. And when people see you invest in yourself, they will invest in you. You know what I'm saying? If she's that great and that popular and such a legend, and she even put herself above Whoopi Goldberg, then all you had to do is perform somewhere and film it and sell it to anybody. You could have had a bidding war between Netflix ain't the only place in town. You could have had a bidding war. But I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's talk about Marlon Brando and compare his situation. because this is an Italian man or a white guy, and she tried to compare herself to Dave Chappelle and all these other people who pay their dues. But t- you know, let's talk about Marlon Brando for a second. And I'm reading what Vaughn said. Oh yeah, these YouTube streets are hot, and Diva has made her Diva tomboyish is in the building, and I didn't get a chance to read much of what she said, but welcome to the chat, and you ain't got to dodge no sniper bullets here. You ain't even got to worry about it. So you said Brando was born female. Well, shit, we don't want to go down those YouTube streets either. So if Brando was born female, then that means Richard Pryor was straight. Yeah, let Quincy Jones tell it. But what I wanted to say was that Marlon Brando only got 50,000 for The Godfather. You see what I'm saying? Marlon Brando only got 50,000 for The Godfather. Matter of fact, Francis Ford Coppola put out a book based on his production notes for the movie The Godfather. So in his production notes, the you just did a story on Marlon Brando. Oh, that's cool. Well, this what I'm going to talk about. Just a little small segment of the Godfather experience because Monique only got 50,000 for that movie that she did, which was a small production with not much of a budget. But Marlon Brando, they was not going to pay Marlon Brando at all because just like Monique, Marlon Brando is hard to work with, and the way that they tricked him into being in the movie, Francis Ford Coppola came to his house with a truck and a crew, and he said, "Hey, Marlon." He knocked on the door, and Marlon Brando came out uh, with his in his robe, with his blonde hair and all that stuff, blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever, and yeah. So he said, I'm trying to do research for a character from my movie, The Godfather, and I wonder if you could help me develop this character. And he's going to be the mob boss and all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. So, being the genius that Marlon Brando is, he quickly put black shoe polish into his hair. He put some cotton balls or something into his cheeks, and they set up a table with some Italian food. And I don't know if Diva heard this story. You might have heard this story, but he everybody was dressed in black, and they were told to serve him but not speak to him. And he sat down at that table and ate the Italian food, and he started role playing as the Godfather. And boom, the Godfather was born. Now, the four executives that were responsible for the movie, they said, "Fuck Marlon Brando. We ain't, if Marlon Brando quits in the middle of this production, it's gonna ruin us. A lot of money is gonna be wasted, and it's gonna be bad for all of us. We're not willing to take that risk. If you want Marlon Brando to be in this movie, you're gonna have to give us $1 million deposit to hold until the production is over." Now, can you believe that? Francis Ford Coppola had to give the executives, these four young executives that could give a damn about Marlon Brando's past work and who he was. All they know is that he gets shadidi, get his feelings hurt, and walks off sets when he's not happy. So they said, "Give us $1 million, he could be in the movie. We need $1 million deposit just in case he acts a fool." So after they made that amazing film, The Godfather and everything, and it was all said and done, The Godfather only got $50,000. Marlon Brando was so mad that not the movie, but him. as payment, just like Monique. He only got $50,000. He was so mad he didn't even show up for the Oscar. So if you really, got issues with how much you got paid for a movie or whatever, a real G wouldn't even show up. Marlon Brando did. Not only he didn't show up, he sent a very controversial model that people had issue with. He sent her in his place to accept the award for him as a slap in the face of Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? So, and then they came out with other versions. The Godfather Part 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they came out with the Godfather video game. He didn't get no money from none of that stuff. But when you do a movie like that or whatever, and it turns out to be amazing, the next movie, you can name your price. You see? Yeah, but I agree with you, Miss Monette. I can't really read the chat room that closely, but the devil is in the details. You cannot compare a movie with a whole cast of stars to a movie that someone like, if let's say a comedian has a movie and it's their movie, they're the star and it's their movie. You can't compare a movie that you're one part of multiple stars. You can't compare a movie of multiple stars splitting the money to one other comedian that's getting paid for a movie that's their movie. Like, I will call a spade in a minute. Ain't nobody more fight the power than me, but you gotta have your argument. Your argument gotta be strong. And when the dust settle, when all the dust settle and all the yelling stops, you got to turn your finger to yourself and your own people. You know what I'm saying? If we had shit more established, you wouldn't have to be mad at somebody else. And you can't call it, you know, racism, because when her little campaign was over, there were more black films that popped up and more black comedy specials that popped up than ever before. And I don't see nobody other than Netflix that are putting black actors from Europe to work. A lot of those comedy shows and movies are black actors from Europe, and before the last 10 years, they were practically non-existent, because Idris Elba is not the only black European actor. There's tons of them. It's a whole cruise ship full of black actors from Europe, and Netflix is one of the few companies that's putting on film productions with them in it. You know what I'm saying? But I like Monique. I used to watch her shows, but this was a rich person's battle, a rich person's argument that had nothing to do with with the rest of us. It had nothing to do with our race. She was trying to pull us into it, just to support her, but it was her husband that made those bad decisions, and she got a Grammy for acting. I mean, she got an Oscar for acting when she ain't even an actress, really. You know what I'm saying? She's a comedian, and you can't use a Grammy for acting in a drama to advance your position in comedy. It's two separate things. There's only a few people that could do that, like Jamie Foxx. That's just one example. But that other girl, I know who you're talking about. That's a whole nother argument. I mean, think about this. An amphitheater is hella large. See, we going down that road. I don't want to go down that road. We're not going to go down that road. But it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic. The name of the show is YouTubers and their YouTube addiction. But all you got to do is look at it like this. Why does it take 10 black groups to fill up a theater when it only take one white group to fill up a theater? If there's an amphitheater, you know how the amphitheaters are huge, and for everybody to come out to see these black groups, you got to have like a summer jam or something, some big multi-artist show. But they can have one group. It could be an old ass artist like Willie Nelson. It could be one of the members of NSYNC, and they'll fill up the whole theater. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that other girl, Schumer, I think it was, she could get people to come see her. She could get people to see her film, whether she good or not. She built her career. I guess she built it. I don't know how she built her career. The same with that sister. She built her career off of I know she built her career off the internet. But when you give yourself accolades, when you pat yourself on the back, all you got to do is prove it by making your own product. I mean, look at Cat Williams. Cat Williams didn't even need Netflix at all. Cat Williams made history. There's only a few black comedians that made history, and that's Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, and Jamie Foxx. The rest of the comedians are just comedians that do well. But being a legend is, I forgot the words that she used, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, damn, diva. You know, that's what I'm saying. For the sake of argument, with all the conspiracies and all that to the side, I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, that Richard Pryor did the first stand-up movie ever, the first comedic stand-up movie ever. The movie made $400 million. This black man in the theaters outsold Superman, who was supposed to be one of the greatest white men in the world. He outsold Superman. So you know what they did in Superman 4? They put Richard Pryor in the movie Superman. You see, Raw did so well. So when Richard Pryor did that, Eddie Murphy said, well, shit, if he can do it, I can do it. So when Eddie Murphy did Raw, he made so much money, he bought an island in the Bahamas, and it's called the Raw Island. Now let's say that Eddie Murphy bought that island for $10 million. Well, a duchess, no, not a duchess, a chocolate baroness bought the island from Eddie Murphy for $100 million. You see what I'm saying? And it's still referred to as the Raw Island. So, no, not JoJo Dancer. Live on Sunset Strip was the first ever comedy motion picture where somebody's doing stand-up. So instead of you going, it was genius. Instead of you waiting for him to come to your town, he was in every town simultaneously. It made $400 million. And LaTanya Jones is back. Her shit crashed again for the second time, and she is back. For those who care. So, yeah, you know, we trying to speak with just on the surface of things. We don't want to get too deep today, Diva and others. We heard about the conspiracies and the Illuminati and the rituals and stuff, but I just want to keep it at surface level. And I think we had a great talk. I think we had a great run. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. And I want you to check out the last 3 videos that were posted by the Moles, M-O-L-E-S, on the Why You Trippin' channel. I think you'll find it very interesting what your girl has said in the past that she will not answer to in the future. And I appreciate everyone dropping by. I may go live at another time tonight, and maybe even tomorrow. And I forgot my charger. That's why this is more like a radio show today. I forgot my charger to my laptop. But there will be more art. There will be more receipts. There will be more fun. and there'll be more entertainment. Thanks for showing up, and peace out. Peace out, Kitty.